Hello YouTube family members, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. If you're just seeing my face for the very first time, you're very much welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning back. I do not take you guys for granted. Thank you so much indeed. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I was able to wean my baby off breast milk finally. You guys tell me congratulations in the comment section. It was not easy. It wasn't easy, but yes, we're able to come out strong and better. So yes, that is what I'm going to be sharing with you guys in today's video. So please bring out your chairs, sit down, relax, kule. Okay, so how was I able to wean my baby off breast milk? So for me, first things first, I like to put this out there. When you're trying to wean your baby off breast milk, one thing you should know is that every child is different. Okay, do not analyze and say because my first child was like this, my second child will be like this as well. The way your pregnancy journey is different from the second one, the first one is different from the second one, that is just the same way weaning your baby will be different. Okay, so I know I'm a first-time mom, but I've heard different stories from different mothers pertaining to weaning their child off breast milk. So I don't want to get into that, but let me focus on what I have to share from my own experience, and then yeah, we can go ahead. So first things first, like I would like to say, is that when you're trying to wean your baby off, one thing you should know is that you have to make your own decision. You have to make your decision as to when, how you're going your baby off breast milk. Why did I say this? Because it is you're the person that is going to be undergoing some roller coaster, some emotional drama and all of that. So yes, you have to decide, and when you're deciding, you have to be very strict with that, because I've heard of some mothers who started the journey but they couldn't cope with the pain, they couldn't cope with the drama, the emotions of seeing their child go through the pain of having to withdraw from breast milk and all of that. And I must tell you, it is a lot of emotions and it is not easy. But if you have determined or you have decided to wean your baby off breast milk, then you have to be strict to it. It is hard, but it is doable. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So for me, how and when did I decide to stop my baby from breastfeeding? So if you haven't watched my video on when I resumed work, I had shared some of my problems or concerns as to the period when I resumed back to work. So I resumed when my baby was 3 months old. Initially it was supposed to be 4 months old, but because I had wanted for it to be 4 months old, because I say 4 months old, for me to resume back to work by 4 months, but because there was a bit of misunderstanding, I couldn't do that. Okay, so I had to stick to the time that was given to me. So when I had resumed, I had a bit of concern as to where I was supposed to keep my baby, how I was supposed to feed her, because yes, I and my husband had decided on how I was supposed to feed our baby, and that was through natural, breast milk, feeding her through breast, okay, not pumping or anything, not pumping or anything like that. So that had already been decided upon. So it was a concern for me as to how I was supposed to do that. But as time progresses, we figured it out. Okay, so when I was ready to stop my baby from breastfeeding, she was 6 months old, so I had to introduce her to solid, and I started with pap. You can watch that on the first meal that she took, which was pap. I will link the video in the description box if you haven't seen that already. All right, so yes, so after I had introduced her to feeding, eating pap, she's gradually started eating it. Then as time progressed, I started having someone within the organization to help me look after my child while I am in the class or teaching and all of that. So that was what helped me within that period. And by the time she was about I say 9 months, I now decided to keep her with her great mother, her great grandmother. And so at this time, what I did was to always feed her, breastfed her, and then keep the pap with the grandmother to feed her. And I would say that I didn't just feed her just pap. I had formula inside, so that was nutritious enough for her to feed. So I started gradually. I didn't just stop immediately like that. I didn't just stop like that. So I had to start gradually, and that was what helped me, because I had a support who was able to like look after her for me and also feed her at the time I was not available. So but the thing I did was to also always ensure that I fed her in the morning, like breastfeeding her in the morning. Then in the afternoon when I was not available, they feed her the pap. And by the time I come back, she's already fed, so there will not be need for her to like feed on my boobs. Okay, so that was one of the methods I used. So when I was now ready to like to stop her completely from breastfeeding, that was when she was 1 year 6 months. So by this time she had started taking little snacks here and there, but she wasn't so serious with eating foods that we as adults were eating. So that was one of the things that made me like want to like really go into stopping her from breastfeeding. So those are the two things that, yes, the first thing was because I had resumed back to work. Secondly, because she was not eating much of the solids that we're eating. So those two things were the reason why I had to stop my baby from breastfeeding. So normally the recommended years for breastfeeding, I think, is 2 or 3 years. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. Okay, so yes, having said that, so what I did next was to ensure that when I was ready to stop her from breastfeeding, I ensured that those snacks were available, like the drinks, the juice, the biscuits, the noodles, eggs, what else, pap was also available. So as at the time I was not ready to stop her, I had to choose a day that I will be home. So the convenient time for me was when we were on holidays. So by that time, I knew, okay, it was time for me to like stop her. And someone actually encouraged me to like stop her, like to do that earlier than the time I had wanted to. Unfortunately for for her, she couldn't like progress because it was so difficult for her. But by the time she noticed that I was becoming serious myself, she continued, and yes, she was able to like pass through the phase. So I think I I just went off anyways. So yes, um so yeah, that was what I did. So by the time we started, the first day was how did I communicate to her to let her know that it is time for her to like stop breastfeeding. So I've heard a lot of time that mothers use bitter leaf to rub on the nipples. Some use aloe vera. So all of those things, I didn't use that. So I had to think out of the box. For me, I had to like observe my child to notice what she's more sensitive to. So I noticed that each time someone has an injury in his or her body and like saying ouch ouch, she notices that the person is in pain, and all that she can say is, oh, sorry, sorry. So yes, I took that. I used that. I don't want to say against her. So I used that on her. So what I did was, we have plasters, the one they use in the clinic. So I used that to plaster my nipples, and I showed it to her to like for her to get the memo now. I showed it to her and I was like, ouch, ouch, ouch. So she got the memo that, oh, mommy's boobs are in pain and she can't go close to it. So that was how we actually started off, and by evening it was tough. The mornings, the afternoons were much more easier. I mean, I could feed her pap, she was eating that. I could give her snacks, she was eating that. But when it was night, it was tough because that's the time she needed, like she uses that to like make her to sleep. It lures her to sleep. When she's about to sleep, like that's what she uses to like make her to like fall off to sleep, it like just sleep off. So because she was unable to get that, it was a drama. Like she was fussy, she was crying. Oh my god, it was a lot of emotion. My husband was like, just give her this breast, just give her like just give her, look at how she's crying, she's so bitter. Like even me myself, like I almost like dropped into tears. And that was the time I said, okay, let me bring her solid what we had eaten that day. I think we ate spaghetti. So I brought that to her. You need to see this girl eating spaghetti. I was like, now you need to chop this spaghetti like this. When hunger don't wire you like this, now you making the job. Like she ate the spaghetti, she finished it. I was like, okay, so if this is the reason why you have to eat the solid, then I must progress. I mean, that gave me like more ginger for me to like forge ahead. So yes, after she had eaten, she was still fussy because I mean it was still a way of connection, bonding when she's breastfeeding. So I had to look for other ways to like make her feel close, make her feel wanted or something of that nature. So I still had to like make some connection with her by hugging her, kissing her, singing for her, cuddling her, backing her. Like we did a lot of drama drama presentations. And at the end of the day, she was able to sleep, and that was how we're able to like pass through the first stage. Okay, so going to the second stage, that is the next day. Now she was becoming much better by the day, but for me my breast was becoming more engorged. Like my breasts were so full, it felt as if it was
She
stone,
just
as
woke
if
up
you
and
know how
started
stone
crying
they heavy,
because
not be small stone, no big stone, that heavy
that
stone. That was how I felt
thinking
on
that
my breast. Like it's not
thinking
just
that crying
one,
crying
now
baby
the
is
two. I could not bend, I could not stand
yeah,
like
clean your
upright,
teeth.
I could not turn. Like it was
Clean it
so
very well.
uncomfortable and like
You want people to be calling
just
you
a
crying
little
crying
touch
baby.
like this, you go there as if they
Mm-hmm.
spark some things to your head. That was how
Yeah.
is that's the best way I can actually explain this to you. It
Crying
was
crying
so
baby.
uncomfortable, so painful, I must tell
Crying
you the
crying
truth. So I was looking for
baby.
ways to um
Don't cry.
help
Yeah?
with the pain. So one of the
Yeah.
things I did was to use ice block. Some of the advice I got was to use ice block to like help with the pain. And also some people said I could use cabbage, which I didn't, because I didn't have that available, so I didn't use that. But maybe you could try that out if you're going through this phase. So yes, I didn't use that. Another one was to take a drug. I've forgotten the name now, but I'm going to leave that in the on the screen for you to see. So I took that. I think that really helped me. My mom particularly said that it helps to dry out the breast milk. So that was what I did, and I think it did magically for me. And I mean, after the next day, I felt much better. I felt much relieved, but it was still there, but it wasn't as much as it was the other day. Okay, so it became better, and as time progressed, I think about a week we're able to go over it. I mean, she was able to eat. She started eating like more frequently, eating the foods that we're eating, picking up, and she totally forgot about the boobs. But right now, I must say, as in presently, as at now, she's about 1 year 11 months now. She still puts her hands in my breast and then like wants to bring the breast out. It's not that she suckles on it, but she just wants to just be playing with it. I don't know why, but I feel like there's still some connections in her brain that still wants it, but she cannot take it. So she just plays with it. She brings it out, she looks at it and plays with it and trying to like as if she wants to put it in her mouth, but she wouldn't. I don't know, maybe you guys would know this. Please let me know in the comment section. Have you experienced this? What is it about? How are you able to deal with it? Does it stop as time progresses? Please let me know in the comment section. I'd like to know. So yes, that was how basically we're able to like stop breastfeeding. So now going into the tips, I like to say, like I've said firstly when I started the video, I made mention of the fact that you have to be strict when you make your decision, and you have to ensure that when you're trying to stop your baby from breastfeeding, ensure that your baby is also safe, as in your baby is sound. Not for you to, like, maybe you have started breastfeeding and you notice that, oh, your baby is not feeling well, then you have to like stop and then start giving your baby the breast milk and all that. It is not going to be easy on your part, because it's going to be like you're being indecisive, going back and forth, going back and forth. So ensure yourself, your baby, you're all ready and you're all in a good condition. Okay, so yes, ensure that you also have things that your baby likes really available, because yes, those things are going to help you in the process. Also ensure that you have support. Your husband must be aware of the fact that you want to stop your baby from breastfeeding, because sometimes some husbands cannot bear it and they may just be like, okay, just give your baby breast milk, and if people are not in alignment, it will not go well. I mean, you guys will not be able to do that. So yes, you have to be in alignment with your husband and ensure that you guys are in I mean, like, you guys have a conversation on the fact that you want to stop your baby from breastfeeding. And yeah, it's just a phase, like I mentioned, it is a phase, and it's going to, you guys are going to pass through it, and you come back better and stronger. Just like when you're giving birth, when you get pregnant, that phase passes, you give birth, that phase passes, you the sleepless night, that phase passes. Just that way, I mean, back to back faces. Mothers, we are superheroes. So many people have said this, and I think I agree with that right now, because more, it's not easy, it's not funny, but yes, we are indeed great, and we are better. And when you're going through this, please do not forget to take care of yourself, because honestly, it is very easy to be overwhelmed by all of this situation, and you tend to forget about yourself. Somebody like me, I do that a lot. So but please ensure that you take care of yourself. Okay, I hope this video has been very helpful, and if I've left anything out from this video, I think I didn't mention something. If you're ensured also that you know the kind of I've heard people say that when you're doing the gradual method, is you don't go through that engorgement and all of that, but when you are trying to like stop, like cut off so fast or something, I'm looking for the words and I can't seem to like get it. But when you're trying to do that, that's when you get to experience those kind of pains. So but do what works for you. Okay, do not be in a rush. If you're not ready, then just take your time. Okay, so yeah, I hope this video has been helpful. If you did enjoy the video, please do not forget to like this video, share to as many as possible. Yes, please, abeg, make una like the video, like so that at least YouTube can recommend my video to as many as possible. All right, I'll see you in my next video. Do have a lovely day. Bye. Mwah! Thank you.